China, a land where nature's wonders and human ambition intertwine on a scale the world has rarely seen. Here, towering mountains guard secret valleys untouched for millennia, while glittering megaprojects defy gravity, weather, and time itself. From windswept deserts to futuristic skylines, every corner tells a story of extremes. Today, we begin our journey through a China that feels almost unreal, where the Earth's raw beauty meets feats of engineering that seem ripped from the future. Hidden deep within the mountains of Chongqing lies a place so vast, it creates its own weather. Zhangjiajie, the largest sinkhole in the world, is a crater plunging over 600 meters deep, enough to swallow 2 Eiffel Towers stacked end to end. Its sheer limestone walls are draped in green, and at the bottom, a misty microclimate shelters plants and animals found nowhere else. As sunlight filters through the opening above, it feels less like descending into a hole and more like stepping into a forgotten world. Rainwater streams feed an underground river that roars through unseen caves, adding to the mystery. Few places on Earth feel so prehistoric, so untouched, as if you're trespassing into nature's private sanctuary. In Guizhou province, beneath rolling hills, lies a labyrinth so massive it could fit a small city inside. Lijiang cave stretches for over 12 kilometers, its ceiling soaring up to 150 meters, the height of a 40-story skyscraper. Discovered only in 1980, it had been growing in silence for more than 2 million years. Inside, the air is cool and damp, and the silence is broken only by the occasional drip of mineral-rich water forming stalactites, stalagmites, and formations so bizarre they seem sculpted by an alien hand. From shimmering gypsum flowers to towering stone columns twisted like ancient tree trunks, the cave is a gallery of geological art. In the glow of soft lighting, it becomes clear this is less a cave and more a natural cathedral built over eons. Imagine a school run so extreme it involves scaling the side of a cliff. That was the daily reality for the children of Anjali, a remote cliff-top village in Sichuan province. For generations, villagers reached the outside world via rickety rope ladders dangling over an 800-meter vertical drop. In 2016, the local government replaced them with a steel staircase clinging to the cliff face, a dizzying climb of thousands of steps, some pitched at a 70-degree angle. The new path transformed life for the community, making it easier to trade goods, reach hospitals, and attend school. Yet even with this modern upgrade, standing on one of its narrow platforms, looking down into the sheer valley below, you still feel like you're halfway between earth and sky. The Taklamakan Desert, a place once called the Sea of Death, is one of the harshest environments on Earth. Temperatures swing from blistering heat to freezing cold, and sandstorms can erase the horizon in seconds. Cutting straight through its heart is the Taklamakan Desert Highway, 550 kilometers of asphalt stretching over shifting dunes. Engineers fought a constant battle against the sands, planting thousands of hardy shrubs along both sides to form the Green Great Wall, a living barrier that keeps the desert from swallowing the road. Driving here feels like crossing another planet, where the road is the only sign of life in a world of endless gold. In Xinjiang, Shanshan County, the sands of the Kumtag Desert press right up against city streets. Here, desert and civilization exist in a rare harmony. Meltwater from the Tianshan Mountains and hidden springs feed a network of green belts, keeping the sands from encroaching. Locals have a saying: the sand doesn't advance, the greenery doesn't retreat, and the people don't move. Standing at the city's edge, you can see it, the abrupt meeting of golden dunes and lush orchards, a balance that feels almost like a natural miracle. On the coast of Lijiang province, the wetlands of Panjin ignite each autumn in a deep, crimson glow. This spectacle comes from a plant called Suida salsa, which thrives in the salty marsh soil. By September, vast stretches of the wetland turn a vivid red, creating the illusion of a giant velvet carpet stretching to the horizon. Wooden boardwalks wind through the sea of color, and flocks of rare migratory birds skim the water's surface. In a country known for its mountains and rivers, this unexpected burst of color feels like walking through a living painting. The Guangxi region hides one of China's most pristine sinkholes, a natural amphitheater of stone and jungle so untouched, scientists have barely begun to explore. The walls plunge steeply into a basin where ferns, orchids, and ancient trees thrive in constant peace. Without direct sunlight, the air is cool, damp, and charged with the scent of vegetation. Standing at the rim, the view is dizzy, but it's the thought of the untouched life below that's truly humbling. It's a reminder that even in the most mapped country, there are still places where nature keeps her secrets. In Shenshu, Hunan Province, Jieling's narrow ridgelines look like the scales of a sleeping dragon. Trails wind along knife-edge crests, where each side drops away into valleys far below. Some sections are barely wide enough for two people to pass, and without railings, each step demands focus. Yet the reward is breathtaking, panoramic views of rolling green mountains under shifting clouds. It's no wonder photographers from across China come here to capture the play of light and shadow on this natural roller coaster. Deep in Guizhou province, the Anlong pyramids rise from the landscape like the lost relics of an ancient civilization. Their stacked, block-like shapes seem almost man-made, but they are in fact the product of 200 million years of geological processes. At least 15 pyramid-like hills dot the region, each surrounded by myths and speculation. Local legends speak of gods shaping the land, while geologists see a rare and beautiful quirk of erosion. Whatever the truth, standing before them stirs the same awe one feels before the great monuments of the world. In the heart of Chongqing's Karst region lies Wuzhen Geological Park, where 3 colossal natural bridges rise from a jungle-filled canyon. Formed by the collapse of giant cave systems, each arch is big enough to let a skyscraper slip underneath. Standing beneath them, you can feel the weight of millions of years overhead. The air here is damp and cool, the walls streaked with moss, and waterfalls spill into the shadows. It's no wonder this otherworldly location has been used as a backdrop for films. It feels less like Earth, and more like an ancient realm left behind by the gods. In Zhejiang province, the Qiantang River performs one of nature's most spectacular tricks. A tidal bore so powerful it sends a wall of water racing upstream against the current. During the peak of the lunar cycle, this watery giant can rise over 9 meters high and roar for minutes at a time. Crowds gather along the banks to watch it thunder past. But it's not without danger. The force of the wave can overturn boats, and in the past, it has swept away those who got too close. It's the largest tidal bore in the world, and watching it feels like seeing the ocean itself rebel against the land. Carved over millennia in Hubei province, the Pingshan Grand Canyon is a labyrinth of towering cliffs and jade green water. In places, the passage is so narrow that only small boats can glide through. Rock walls rise like cathedral spires, their surfaces polished smooth by centuries of rushing water. Near the canyon lies the Shiziguan Floating Bridge, a walkway of steel and foam anchored directly to the riverbed, swaying gently as visitors cross. Here, nature and human ingenuity coexist, allowing people to explore without disturbing the fragile environment. Once an abandoned quarry, Wangxian Valley has been reborn as a surreal cliffside wonderland. Glass bridges stretch over open air, houses hang suspended from rock faces, and cascading man-made waterfalls sparkle under the light. Built to resemble an ancient Chinese city, it transforms at night into a fantasy realm. Its streets glowing with floating lanterns, and even a giant artificial moon drifting above. It's a reminder of China's growing talent for blending traditional design with modern spectacle. On the coast of Fujian province, the waves light up in electric blue. Known as the Blue Terrace, This phenomenon is caused by microscopic organisms that emit light when disturbed. At night, every ripple and splash becomes a streak of neon, turning the shoreline into a galaxy of stars spilled across the sea. Few places on Earth witness this spectacle so consistently, and standing on the shore, watching the surf shimmer under the moonlight feels almost supernatural. Rising like stone pillars from a sea of mist, the 3,000 sandstone columns of Zhangjiajie have become an icon of China's natural beauty. Some soar over 400 meters high, their narrow peaks topped with wind-sculpted trees. This landscape inspired the floating mountains in the film Avatar, but here, the wonder is real. Among its many attractions is the world's longest glass bridge, suspended 300 meters above the canyon floor. And clinging to one cliff face is the Meili elevator, the tallest outdoor elevator on Earth, whisking visitors from the forest below to the peaks above in under 2 minutes. In Yunnan province, the Qinsha River, an upper stretch of the Yangtze, squeezes through one of the deepest gorges on Earth. Nearly 4,000 meters of vertical difference separate the roaring river from the snow-capped peaks above. At its narrowest point, legend says a tiger once leapt across the river to escape a hunter, giving the gorge its name. Today, that spot is marked by a statue, but the true spectacle is the thundering rapids below, a reminder of the raw, untamed power still alive in China's landscapes. Sacred to Chinese Buddhism, Mount Fanjing is unlike any other mountain. A towering vertical rock rises above the mist, and at its summit sit 2 ancient temples, one dedicated to the historical Buddha, the other to the future Buddha. They are separated by a deep cleft in the stone, connected only by a narrow bridge that seems to float in the sky. To reach this spiritual perch requires climbing thousands of steep steps, a journey of both physical and spiritual devotion. Mount Hu, one of Taoism's 5 sacred mountains, is as famous for its breathtaking scenery as it is for its nerve-testing plank walk. Centuries ago, Taoist monks hammered wooden boards into the sheer cliffside to create a trail where there was none. Today, visitors clip into safety harnesses and inch along those same boards, hundreds of meters above the valley floor. The view is dazzling, the drop is dizzying, and at the end awaits the chess pavilion, a tiny platform perched on a lone peak, as if it's waiting for the gods to play their next move. Stretching across the Yangtze River like a wall against time itself, the Three Gorges Dam is the largest hydroelectric power station in the world. It produces nearly 10% of China's electricity, turning the roar of the river into light for millions of homes. Beside it stands the world's largest ship elevator, lifting entire vessels 100 meters in a sealed water chamber before setting them afloat again. This structure isn't just an engineering marvel. It's a symbol of China's drive to harness nature's power on an almost mythical scale. In Sichuan province, the Yangtze expressway twists and winds through a landscape so rugged, it once took days to cross. Now, drivers glide over bridges and through tunnels that conquer mountains, deep valleys, and earthquake-prone terrain. The route required more than 200 separate structures, from multi-span bridges to spiraling tunnel ramps, making it one of the most complex highways ever built. Along the way, travelers are treated to views of emerald forests and misty peaks, a reminder that here, infrastructure doesn't just serve a purpose, it creates a journey. With 99 sharp bends carved into the mountainside, the road to Tianmen Mountain is a serpentine test of engineering skill. A cable car, one of the longest and highest in the world, glides 7.4 kilometers from the city below to the summit. Here, the famous Heaven's Gate, a natural arch piercing the rock, rises into the clouds. To reach it, visitors must climb 999 steep steps, each one a nod to eternity and good fortune. Standing at the top, looking out over endless green peaks, it feels as though you've stepped into another realm entirely. Perched on a cliff of volcanic rock, the Dacian Hanging Temple seems to defy gravity. Supported by wooden beams driven deep into the stone, it has stood since the Tang Dynasty, weathering over 1,000 years of storms, earthquakes, and time. Inside, the scent of incense mingles with the sound of wind rushing past the walls, and beyond the open windows lies a view that seems both perilous and divine. Wedged between steep cliffs and the Yangtze River, Yanjin is known as the narrowest city in the world. In some places, it's less than 30 meters wide, just enough for a single road and a row of riverside buildings. Life here flows in rhythm with the water, with boats ferrying goods and bridges linking the two halves of the city. From above, Yanjin looks almost impossible, as if the mountains reluctantly made space for human life. At 565 meters above the valley floor, the Doge Bridge is one of the tallest in the world. Spanning 1.3 kilometers across a deep gorge, it links two provinces once separated by hours of winding mountain roads. The construction team faced constant challenges, high winds, thick fog, and the sheer drop below, but the result is nothing short of breathtaking. Driving across feels like floating above the clouds, with the earth falling away on either side. On a cliffside in Changcheng, two towering metallic figures stand facing each other, each holding a circular platform. Slowly, they rotate toward one another until the platforms nearly touch, creating the illusion of a kiss in midair. Standing on one of these moving platforms, suspended high above the valley, is equal parts thrill and poetry, a modern attraction that turns engineering into an art form. Carved into limestone cliffs along the Yi River, the Longmen Grottos are one of the greatest treasures of Buddhist art. Thousands of caves hold tens of thousands of statues, from miniature carvings to monumental figures over 17 meters high. Each is unique, telling stories of devotion, history, and artistic mastery. Walking along the cliffside paths, with the river glinting below, you feel the weight of 1,500 years of human belief and craftsmanship. Stretching nearly 21,000 kilometers from the coast to the desert, the Great Wall of China is the longest man-made structure on Earth. In the mountains, its stone spine winds along razor-thin ridges. In the desert, it becomes a low, crumbling rampart blending into the sands. Built over centuries to defend against northern invasions, the wall was raised stone by stone, brick by brick, often carried by hand or by mule over impossible terrain. Standing on its highest watchtowers, you can see it snake over mountains until it disappears into the horizon, a reminder that some human works are as much a part of the landscape as the rocks beneath them. In Sichuan province, a calm stone figure sits at the meeting of three rivers. The Leshan giant Buddha, at 71 meters tall, is the largest stone-carved Buddha in the world. Built in the Tang Dynasty to calm dangerous river currents, it took over 90 years to complete. Its massive head alone measures nearly 15 meters. Each ear is longer than a man is tall, and its feet could seat dozens of people. Time, wind, and rain have softened its edges, but the Buddha's expression remains serene, as if still watching over the waters below. In the remote cliffs of Henan, the village of Lijiang was once entirely cut off from the outside world. That changed in the 1970s. When 13 villagers decided to carve a road through solid rock by hand. Working with hammers and chisels, they chipped away for 5 years until the Guoliang Tunnel emerged. A narrow, winding road with windows carved into the cliff face, offering dizzying views down the valley. Today, it's called the road that does not tolerate mistakes, and driving it feels like balancing between human determination and nature's indifference. In Gansu province, the Zhangjiajie National Geopark is a vision of Earth's ancient past painted in brilliant colors. Here, sandstone layers have been compressed, uplifted, and eroded over 100 million years, revealing stripes of red, yellow, green, and orange. In the soft light of dawn or dusk, the hills look like brushstrokes on an enormous canvas. Walking the boardwalks above the formations feels almost unreal, as if you step into a world where geology has borrowed the palette of a painter. In Chongqing's Longgang National Geopark, the Earth suddenly falls away into a vast sinkhole, a sheer-walled crater that plunges hundreds of meters into the forest below. Local legend tells of a dragon once guarding this chasm, hiding in its depths. Today, a glass observation platform called the Walk in the Clouds juts out over the void, giving visitors the sensation of floating above an endless drop. In Jiangxi Province, Mount Longwu, Dragon Tiger Mountain, is one of Taoism's most sacred sites. Steep cliffs rise from dense forest, their faces dotted with ancient wooden coffins suspended in caves hundreds of meters above the ground. Placing the dead in such unreachable places was believed to guide their souls toward the heavens. Even now, the mystery remains. How did ancient people lift such heavy coffins into these perilous resting places? In the middle of the Kaidam Desert lies a shock of turquoise blue, Zhangjiajie Lake. Its vivid color comes from high concentrations of lithium and other minerals in the water, which also form delicate salt crusts along the shore. The lake's shimmering surface mirrors the clouds, while its edges are patterned with crystalline shapes that look as though they've been carved by hand. Shanghai's skyline is a forest of glass and steel, crowned by the twisting Shanghai Tower and the glowing spheres of the Oriental Pearl TV Tower. Yet the city is not only vertical, it's vast. The Shanghai Maglev train rockets passengers from the airport at speeds of up to 431 kilometers per hour, making it the fastest commercial train in the world. This is a city where ancient temples hide in back streets, while futuristic shopping hubs like Lijiang blaze with neon light, suspended sculptures, and endless crowds. Built on steep hills and wrapped by rivers, Chongqing is a city that bends to no terrain. Skyscrapers stand on slopes, aerial trams glide over the Yangtze, and light rail lines run directly through buildings. Nicknamed the City of Fog, it often wakes under a white blanket that slowly lifts to reveal a sprawling urban landscape. Bridges soar between cliffs, and in Hangzhou, a tiered riverside district lit like a lantern, tradition and modern nightlife meet. In the far north, Harbin transforms each winter into a frozen wonderland. The Harbin International Ice and Snow Festival turns blocks of ice into palaces, pagodas, and sculptures of mythical beasts, all illuminated from within by glowing lights. Walking among them at night feels like stepping into a crystal city under the stars. In the next part, we'll cross into more of China's sacred peaks, mysterious valleys, and record-breaking bridges, places where the spirit of the land and the vision of its builders combine to create wonders found nowhere else on Earth. In Shanxi Province, Wutaishan rises with 5 flat summits, each crowned with temples that have drawn Buddhist pilgrims for centuries. Considered the earthly home of the Bodhisattva Manjushri, the mountain is a place where the higher you climb, the closer you feel to the divine. Stone stairways weave through misty forests, prayer flags flutter in the wind, and the sound of temple bells carries over the valleys. At dawn, golden sunlight strikes the peaks, turning them into glowing islands in a sea of clouds. Zhejiang Province hides a place so whimsical it could be a painting. Zhangjiajie's volcanic peaks rise in smooth, flowing shapes, as if sculpted by a gentle hand. Bridges and walkways hug the cliffs, giving visitors sweeping views over rolling mountains and hidden valleys. The Rui Bridge, with its triple-arched, twisting glass path, blends into the skyline like a ribbon suspended in midair. Walking it feels less like crossing a bridge and more like gliding through the clouds. Far to the south, Hainan Island is a world apart. Warm breezes, coconut palms, and turquoise waters lapping against white sand. In Sanya, a 108-meter statue of Guanyin, the Buddhist goddess of compassion, rises from the sea with 3 serene faces gazing toward peace, wisdom, and kindness. Inland, rainforests shelter waterfalls and rare plants, while coastal resorts draw visitors from around the globe. Perched on twin peaks of Mount Lijiang, the Lijiang Pavilion Complex honors Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism. The 2 main golden-roofed halls are connected by a bridge that seems to float in midair. To reach them, visitors take a cable car, then hike stone paths and suspended walkways until the temples appear above the clouds like something out of legend. In the Tian Shan Mountains of Xinjiang, the Naladi grassland rolls out in waves of green, dotted with grazing horses and yurts. For centuries, these meadows have been summer pastures for nomadic herders, part of the Silk Road's network of trade and migration. In spring, the hills burst with wildflowers, and snow peaks gleam in the distance. The silence is broken only by the wind in the grass and the distant bells of livestock.